This is Michiel Rouy and Luc Bragg live talking about ZEKE, our Zero Knowledge Token, our utility token on Cardano. So you might have already seen that over the last days, we've been giving some demos of the platform. Mainly Luc has been giving some demos of different sections in the platform. It's now ready. We want to show it to you. We're talking to a lot of brands to also trial and test it. And we understand that we're building something new and that people can maybe compare it to something that is already there today. That's why we really want to spend the next weeks showing you every side of the platform, answering any question that you have. And an important part of our platform is also our token. So we have launched ZEKE, standing for Zero Knowledge Token. This name comes from Zero Knowledge Advertising, which is the research concept we've set up at the University of Madrid. And so ZEKE is a Swiss mountain dog. You see him appear on LinkedIn. You see him appear on X. It comes from our Swiss heritage as a Swiss company. And it's also a little bit of an aid or a helper in your journey to retake control of your data. Now, the two features that we want to show you in the platform today that ZEKE has is one, ZEKE is a utility token, and it's a payment token. Utility in that we understand it will take time and effort for you to build up your profile, to put all your personal information there, to follow the category quizzes, and to make sure your personal information or your digital twin, like some call it, is up to date and accurate. And so we incentivize you with ZEKE tokens. If you look at our tokenomics on the website, we have about 30% or 35% in something that we call for activity on the app. So you don't need to buy this. It's just you fill in your personal information section, you keep this up to date, you fill out category quizzes about fashion, food, travel, all of the interests that you might have. And we will then, at the end of each month, distribute tokens towards people that are active. These tokens you can then off-ramp, of course, from the moment ZEKE is tradable, but you could also use them to buy products and services from the brand on the platform. And then the second feature, the second function that ZEKE has is payment. So we are allowing brands that you connect with to also advertise to you, but on your terms. So that means a brand will ask you for your personal information so that they can tailor advertising to your needs. You decide which channel they use, the frequency of the messages. But then when you receive a more personalized ad, and we, let's say, ask a metaphorical dollar to the brand to serve you that ad, we split that ad, the dollar in two and pay you out 50 cents, but we pay that in ZEKE. So you'll also be able to accrue ZEKE for your actual attention, engaging with brand content and with brand building information. I don't know, Luc, if you have anything to add to that, or if you want to now take everyone through the actual screens so you can visualize a bit more.
I'll share, and then we can go through some of the scenarios Michiel talked about. First thing I'll do is look at the My Profila. And as Michiel mentioned, and this was covered in a live stream today, part of the My Profila is the psychographics, which is what's in your head and what's in your heart. It's self-discovery surveys that you complete about you, and it provides value to your Profila, and it's what the brands are partially subscribing to. In the current model of how we're all marketed to, things like this don't exist. You are marketed to through observed behavior tracking and a lot of guessing. But what happens when a brand has access to much, much better data than they had before, that comes from self-discovery surveys, whether it's your travel preferences or your musical taste or whatever that is. We've got many, many categories, and we've got great ambitions for building this up and allowing you to create a much better data source than exists any place about you. And as Michiel mentioned, completing surveys earns you ZEKE. I'm not sure if you want to add anything specific to that. Um, Obviously, we want to incentivize self-discovery surveys, um, and help you level up your profile. And of course, that makes it more valuable to brands, and we want you to be rewarded for that as well.
Yeah, maybe now that we're on the screen, you can see that my profile has a section with personal information. So that's just your email address, the location where you live, your gender, your birth date. And then you have a self-discovery quizzes, which is more in-depth psychographic information about what you like of these different categories. And so when you when you build up your profile in the first place, you do this once and you share it with no one. So it's just your data set of information that you can share at some point with a brand that would ask for certain sections of it. So a brand would not have access to all of these pieces because they don't need it. They would ask, for example, to 2 or 3 categories access, and then you could say, okay, I will or I will not allow you access for a specific duration in time and for a specific price. But so in principle, you only have to do this once, and then every time a brand wants to connect to you, you just give them access to this data set. Of course, your interests might change, so we'll nudge you from time to time to see if your answers are still up to date, or when we make new quiz questions, you'll get pop-ups with new quiz questions that will further, let's say, enrich that data set that you have under control.
And also provide insight to yourself, what kind of traveler you are, what kind of fashion sense you have. You know, these questions are for you and for you to share. And we know in the future we'll be allowing individuals as well to integrate first-party data, let's say, or Spotify playlists, and kind of observe behavior on there, along with your zero-party data, the quizzes you're filling out about music. That together, then that vault of information about that specific topic is better than anything. Anybody who wants to sell you anything to do with music, whether it's concerts or whatever, there's no better data source than your Profila.
And I think we've seen some competitors start with that. So not start from scratch, but directly connect to all of your social media platforms and other applications. But then imagine connecting to Facebook and downloading all of the likes from the last 15 years. Things you watched, things you followed from 15 years ago, and it's not at all contextual anymore. It's not at all contextual anymore in a lot of cases, but it's also too much information for you to sort through. So to make it easy to use, we're starting really from scratch. So that you can choose what you fill in, and then these integrations will come later.
Where to next, Michiel?
Sorry?
Where to next?
Yeah, where to next? So yeah, maybe you can see this my profile section, which has these 3 categories, and then there's of course also a wallet. In your wallet section, you will see the dollar value of your wallet, and you will see the ZEKE value of your wallet, and you will see a large ledger of every interaction or every action that you did on the platform. So every time when a brand sends you a request to access your information and you accept it, it will be logged here with the dollar value and the ZEKE value, so that you know at each point in time what accrues ZEKE or what accrues value. If you watch an ad, you will see your part of the ad revenue that Profila made from showing it to you. And then here you can link it to a Euro wallet. That's the first integration that we're doing, working with Emergo for that. But in the future, we'll also allow all, other Cardano native token wallets to be connected to it. Then maybe another important section in the platform to go to is the feed. So we explained that building up your personal information in your My Profile section and doing the quizzes as utility functions, so you get ZEKE for the gamification of it. The second one is payment. So here you see a feed. This is a feed, I would almost say, like you're used to in Instagram or Facebook. The only difference is that each piece of content that you see here is a piece of content from a brand that you actually connected to. and it comes at a frequency that you allow. So if you tell a brand to send you one piece of content per month, you only receive one piece of content per month. On top of that, it should be more personalized than content that you're getting on social media, because a brand had access to way more detailed information about what you like and about the products and services that you like. And so when you see these ads and when you interact with these ads, you get also half of the advertising dollar in ZEKE. And then you can choose whether or not you buy a specific product, but you already get paid just for your attention. A bit in a similar way as you get paid also today on Brave in basic attention tokens when you watch advertising on their browser. The big difference that we have versus Brave, from a technical point of view, we call it active zero knowledge advertising versus the passive zero knowledge advertising of Brave, which just points at the fact that in Profila, you actively choose the brands you want to see content from. Whereas in Brave, it's still based on your browsing history. So it's still Brave that decides what partners they partner with and what adverts they show to which users of the platform.
Very good. Very good. And in this, a bit off topic, but in this specific situation, we're setting up Juventus for a demo. This brand moment came to me because I had completed a survey about Juventus and told them that I watch matches in the pub. And so they were able to use that information to send me a targeted campaign about a pub game I could play with my friends while we're watching the game. So Michiel, if he was a UA fan and if he watched it at home, he would receive this information. And so that's a real big differentiator. Is right now Juventus is on obviously social media, Instagram, Facebook. Whatever they post is for everybody. It has to be. Therefore, it's very generalized. It's not specific. It's not targeted. So much of the content is irrelevant for people when they're viewing it, because Juventus simply doesn't know enough about them to actually put them in a much more accurate box, much more accurate segments. In this case, this was just an example of that kind of targeting. We had another example with a Indian restaurant that we trialed with, that they had a campaign set up and ready to go. The moment it found out somebody was a vegetarian via the self-discovery surveys, it then gave them a special offer for a free a vegetarian appetizer. That allowed the brand to target their customers much more accurately. And in that case, the vegetarian getting special offers only for them, only for who they were. And as Michiel knows, I love to say, it's not creepy because they told them.
Yeah.
If the brand knows more about me because I've consented to a data relationship and I've completed quizzes and I'm happy with all that, and I get more targeted information and relevant offers and such, it's not creepy because I told them. And that's a radical departure from the world we have now, where you talk to your spouse about something and the next thing you know, there's Facebook ads for it, even though they tell us that there is no microphone listening to us. I think we all have examples of something like that happening in our everyday life.
Yeah. Of course, that's what we call the real-time bidding system or surveillance marketing, where third-party cookies are placed on you everywhere you go. I think we just did an expose earlier today about cookie policies. If you ever want to check, open the partner section of a cookie policy and see how many hundreds of advertising companies consider that they have a legitimate interest to take your personal information without you actually knowing it, to purely retarget you for advertising purposes.
Yeah.
So as a privacy lawyer, for me, I'm still baffled that the internet functions like that, and I really believe that in the future that it's going to change. At least that's what we're
Not
trying.
on Profila. No tracking on Profila. You're in control of these sort of things. I want to talk for a minute about how ZEKE influences and informs everything we're doing in the future, everything in the pipeline, everything in our minds, everything in our dreams. One of the criteria we have, one of the battle tests we have for anything at the beginning of the process when we're thinking about a new feature or a superpower we want to give people, is how will ZEKE flow through this? whether it's an earn or burn scenario, how will ZEKE be the circulatory system of this entire platform? And you will earn it, you will burn it, you will use it for value, you will get it for your own value, and it informs everything we do from here on out. We have obviously very simple, straightforward, and powerful scenarios for earning now. We're going to have even more in the future, especially as we get into the idea of a marketplace. Because right now, the model for Profila, as it is now, is it's the brands you love. It's the brands you're loyal to, and those relationships. But eventually, we want to create the idea of a marketplace where I want to be able to find new brands, new products, new services that I didn't know about before, matched with who I am in a way that's also private as well. So the ability to put on an avatar that includes my basic demographics and also my travel sentiments and preferences and insights, because I want to find travel companies that cater to people like me. In that situation, I may need to burn some ZEKE to put that avatar in the marketplace month by month. And also be able to potentially say, okay, I want to actually put it on there in a zero knowledge way, so that's nothing about me is shared. It's all matched up in a black box, which is research that we've done with the University of Madrid. Go ahead, Mikhail.
Yeah, and I think we believe it's a cost. Such a let's say such an extra tool would be a cost for users, but you're already earning, let's say, for free or for your attention a lot of ZEKE, which you can then use to offset these extra powerful features that help you stay anonymous. And so I think one other feature, for example, where you might have to burn ZEKE or where you might have to pay ZEKE is the privacy section. I don't know if you want to quickly jump to that one. It's definitely not the most, it's definitely not the most sexy section of the entire app, but we believe it's one of these extra tools that is useful for you to get back ownership of your data. We built this privacy center where we explain to you what are your rights as an individual or as a consumer. So it's very easy. You can watch a privacy video of a minute that explains to you what is your right to be forgotten, or your right to request the transfer of your data to another service provider, or your right to rectification if a company has wrong data about you. And then when you understand that you have this set of rights, you could actually just click on a brand on the app, then click on a right, say, for example, okay, Juventus, I want to know what kind of information you have about me, or I want you to forget me whatsoever because I'm not a fan anymore. And in line with the Amazon one-click checkout, in 3 button clicks, you exercise a complex data subject rights towards a brand. That's something that really doesn't exist today. And it's not only a tool that we give you as an individual to understand who has your information and then to tell them to change it or to change the use of it. But we're also here helping brands, because under the GDPR, the CCPA, and a lot of other privacy regulations around the world, brands actually have a legal obligation to inform you about these rights. Today, they might do that in Article 14 of a privacy policy that is tucked away in the footer of their website, or in the bottom of an email next to an unsubscribe button. But by making it gamified like this, and by making it easy from a user interface and a user experience perspective, we are helping both users and brands at the same time to connect with each other.
Yeah.
So
and
the privacy.
for ZEKE, so as Mikhail mentioned, it's a Saint Bernard, a dog famous throughout the world for rescuing people in snowdrifts and such. So it's a good representation of both us as a Swiss company based here in Lucerne, but also the idea that he's there to help. ZEKE's here to help, and he's got his little barrel of Profila instead of bourbon, which
and this is a little wink to one of our advisors, Revuto, because I see that this ZEKE actually has the Revuto color.
I saw that. I noticed that as well.
High five to veteran. Yeah.
Yeah, so I made an assertion. You can see the assertion, and again, they've got 30 days to respond.
And so this you might know that we've had a lot of Catalyst projects funded. I think we just submitted 2 projects under Fund 13, but we had already 12 projects funded. The first one was under Fund 5. And there was actually, for this feature, there was a data subject rights ledger. So every time you exercise a data subject right, we log on the Cardano blockchain that you, on a specific date, exercised one of these 9 rights with a specific brand. And then if you tell a brand to, for example, do something and they don't, you have this immutable proof dated that you gave them a legal instruction and that they didn't abide by it. Whereas we all know the unsubscribes today, when you click on it, potentially 2 weeks later, you're added back to the mailing list and you start receiving these mails again. So you, from a user perspective, you don't see all of the Web3 integrations, but they're in several locations in the platform.
Yeah, I think that's a good summary of the existing features on ZEKE. I think the key thing to understand with ZEKE is it's the coin of the realm. We've got a lot of scenarios now, but many, many more in the future. It's a true utility token. Obviously, you'll be able to buy it and sell it on the markets, but it's really useful within the platform. It'll be more useful in the platform. It will flow through every feature that we make in the future, all the ways that Profila is going to influence things, both in obviously on the platform, but also in the real world. So ZEKE will also be integrated into real world scenarios where you take your Profila with you, because when you have your Profila with you, you have all this incredible information about yourself. Not only that, but the digital IDs and all the facts about you that will be captured in digital IDs. That's very powerful to take with you, and your ability to both earn and burn ZEKE on the platform is a key part of how we think about things, and a key part of just how we conceive, design, and implement the features on the platform.
Good. Thanks everyone for listening in.
Yeah, thanks everybody for listening in. We'll be doing these often, always on a specific topic. And if you have any questions, you can always post at us on Twitter.
Have a great evening.